I was curious on what they were saying back then, and you are 100% right. Reaction to MLK's assassination, 1968.
Ask you a couple of questions.
Well, it all depends on the question.
Can you tell me what effect Martin Luther King's death has had on you?
It hasn't had any on me personally. I don't know. I think that the way everything is turning out, that they're bending over backwards to idolize him, and I think that he was a very fine man.
Has it affected your decision? Hang on a sec, sweetheart. Has it affected your feelings about Negroes in general?
Well, I always have had a good feeling about them, so I mean, I don't know whether I speak, for myself personally. I really don't feel any way prejudiced or anything about them. I think perhaps his death may have been, it may work in the reverse, and that people will treat him as a martyr, and maybe bend over backwards to, make everything better for the Negro.
Would you work towards that end?
Oh, certainly, of course. I'm all for it. I think that perhaps this is a horrible way to make people realize that they have to stand up and make this a good country, really,
And I'm wondering if you would comment for me on what you think the effect of Martin Luther King's death has been.
Well, I think it'll bring around a lot of people to realize that it's best not to be violent.
What do you think of the violence since his death?
I was in Washington the last 4 days, as it happens, and I was disturbed by the situation down there.
He said that he hopes that people realize after MLK was assassinated, at best not to be violent then, maybe just be a lesson to the rest of them Negroes. Be less violent.
The violence going on right down there now, just contrary to what he stood for.
How do you feel about Negroes?
Well, I think they've got to be given a little better break than they have been given.
Would you work to that end now?
Yes, I always have.
More so than you have in the past?
I travel on the road. I meet a lot of them. I do business with some of them. And I think we've got to realize that they've got to be given a little better break in this country.
Thank you.
Okay, mate, running.
Again, these are liberals. These are liberals, by the way. These are liberals. He's like, yeah, no, I like Negro. He's chill. He's cool. But the violence, they've asked for violence for them rights. They need to stop doing that. No more of that violent stuff. Yeah, I do business with some of them. We work together sometimes. But they gotta stop with that violent stuff.
Madam, what are you going to tell your children about Martin Luther King's death and Negroes in the future?
Well, that he was died for a good cause. I will tell my children that I believe that everybody should have the same freedom that the white people do. Negro and white should have the same freedom.
Do you feel now that you should do something more about civil rights than maybe you've done in the past?
Yes, I do. I really haven't done anything.
Do you intend to now?
Well, I'll tell you, it's very difficult. I have 4 small ones. My husband travels. But
She was like, yeah, I should have done more. And he was like, are you going to do more? Well, I got kids at home. Okay. Do you know who this reminds me of, chat? Do you know who this reminds me of? Ethan Klein. This reminds me so much of Ethan Klein and like his debate with Hassan. And he was like, Hassan was like, do you think you could have talked about the Palestinian movement more? He's like, yeah, you're right. Like, I could have talked about the Palestinian movement more. I could have and probably should have said more about, the pro-Palestinian side. Are you? Well, okay. I got kids at home. I got a wife at home. I just, I don't know.
I mean, I will teach my children this.
Oh, I poked out my earbuds.
And that if there's anything, if I do have spare time and I could do something, I certainly would.
How do you react?
She said, if I had spare time, I'll fight for equal rights. Like, do you realize, like, what I was saying about, like, how historically liberals optically being on your side is meaningless because they don't do shit. They don't do shit. They don't do shit. They don't. Liberals don't do shit. They don't. Liberals optically being on your side is meaningless. It's meaningless. They care so much about the optics, right? They will acknowledge that, like, yeah, things should probably change, and they won't do shit to do it. Even worse, they think that posting is being for the cause. Yeah. Don't worry, chat. She posted a black squirrel on her Instagram. She cares. She cares.
React to the violence that has followed Dr. King's death in the ghettos?
I think it's terrible. I don't think people should do this. This isn't what he fought for or died for.
Do you think if you
What
were
did
in
she
one...
fight? What did he fight for, lady? Okay, let me explain her position. 1, things need to change. 2, I will not do anything to help that change along. 3, the black people should also not do anything to help that change along, right? Then what do you want? You don't want things to change. You don't want things to change. What are we talking about, bro? What are we talking about? You don't want things to change. You're like, yeah, things should probably change. I don't have time to change things. Also, the black people need to stop being violent and change things by also dying like Dr. King did. Yeah, they should just vote in the next election. Oh, wait. Well, the ones who can vote in the next election, you know? Yeah, literally like this. Exactly like this. Corporate wants you to find a difference between these 2 videos.
In and of itself, that's kind of what it feels like.
Okay, all right.
If that makes sense.
I just think I mean, listen, is it not kind of comical that he's been given this commentary about, like, oh yeah, that's standard issue weaponry. That's usually a surefire sign that things are about to pop off, and he's been doing that for like an hour. And so far, it seems like the police are showing restraint. Like, they're not advancing. They issued a dispersal order and they haven't advanced. Oh yeah, no, they use that technology in Colombia. To okay. Oh, fuck me, right?
In and of itself, that's kind of what it feels like.
There is virtually zero difference between Hutch and this person. Martin Luther King, before his assassination, called this person out directly by saying that he condemns the people who condemns the violence from black people more than they condemn the drivers behind that violence, right? He condemns the people who condemn riots harder than they condemn the people or the drivers behind that those riots.
One of those ghettos, you might do the same?
I don't think I think it's terrible. I don't think people should do this. This isn't what he fought for or died for.
Do you think if you were in one of those ghettos, you might do the same?
I don't think I would really, because I feel that I am a good Christian, and that even being poor or living in bad surroundings, I don't feel that I would react this way. Because if I did believe in Dr. King, I wouldn't do this.
Are you ashamed this happened in America?
Yes, I am. I'm very ashamed.
1, things need to change. 2, no, I will not help with that change. 3, they need to institute the change the way that I want them to institute the change. And 4, again, nope, if I was in a situation, I probably wouldn't do that either. Does she not realize that what she's saying is contradictory? Well, she's dead now, hopefully. But like, it's directly contradictory. If Dr. King's message was so impactful to changing people's minds, it would force her to do something. But she's like, nope, I'm still not doing anything. You know? She's like, I believe in Dr. King. I think his death really moved something in me. Right? Enough for you to do something? No, probably not, no. Not that much, actually. It moves something in me just a little bit, but like not like all of me. I still got kids.
Can you tell me what effect Martin Luther King's death has had on you?
Well, it shook me up pretty good.
You ashamed it happened in America?
No, it shouldn't have never happened anywhere.
What do you think of the violence that's occurred since in some of the cities?
Well, I don't know. It's hard to say. It's hard to say anything about it.
What do you think of Negroes?
Well, I think they're just as good as any white people are.
Do you think they should have full equality?
They should, yes.
What would you?
Well, they're human, same as anybody else.
What would you do to help them get it now?
I'd do anything I could to help them.
Have you in the past?
I've been trying, yes, sir. I sure have.
Okay, I like this guy. Yeah, he didn't condemn the violence. He didn't condemn the violence. Didn't condemn the riots. Honestly, he does sound better than some liberals nowadays. By the way.
Okay, Vinny. Can you tell me
No, this guy's gonna be racist. I can tell.
what your thoughts are now, a couple of days after Martin Luther King's death?
Well, I'm shocked and horrified like everybody else, and I only hope that his death will be of some benefit to the interracial situation.
The interracial situation reads to me like the Israel-Palestine conflict, you know? Just the most neutral of language.
A lot of people are reacting the wrong way about it with violence, and that'll never do any good, so let's hope that they'll see the light and feel differently about it.
What do you think Congress should do now?
Well, I think they've got to take a very different attitude, particularly the southern senators and representatives, and get going on really opening up the situation for the colored people.
Thank you. Opening up the situation for the colored people. Thank you so much. What would we do without you? What would we do without you?
Equal opportunities.
What is your profession, sir?
Colored?
I'm a
Yes, Chatter. This is in 1968. Yes, he's saying colored. That was the language back then.
lawyer.
Little difference between Negroes and whites in America?
Well, there certainly has been, but there shouldn't be. I mean,
I just can't, yeah.
the colored people that have benefited from education and have shown that they have the spirit to be real Americans, no reason at all why they should be discriminated against.
What do you think the biggest stumbling block is to the Negro cause?
He's going to say violence. He's going to say violence. I'm going to call this now. He's going to say violence from the black community or the Negro community. Watch.
Oh, this fanatical attitude of a lot of them that they're being oppressed and they have to go out and be violent and react violently and steal and rob to show their feelings about it. That's hurting them more than anything, I believe.
What did I tell you? I called him as soon as he came on the screen. As soon as he came on the screen, bro. What did I tell you? What did I tell you? And yeah, this is no different than these liberals on Twitter. Absolutely no different than these liberals on Twitter. Right? Because if you were to ask them the same thing, right? What is the biggest stumbling block in the pro-Palestinian movement? And that is, it's the violence, right? It's the violence of the protesters. That's the biggest stumbling block, right? What is the biggest stumbling block in the pro-immigrant movement in America? It's the rioters who's burning Waymos, right? It's the rioters who are burning Waymos is actually the biggest problem. They need to get us on their side, right? They're not helping the movement that I'm not a part of, right? I support them, right? I think that these Negroes are very smart. They got very good peanut brains, you know? They've shown that they can learn something at some point, right? I want to be for them, but there's just this thought process in the Negro who's like, you're so they want to take back their rights with the violence, and they think that they are oppressed in this country. He literally ran the line. They think they're oppressed, right? This fanatical thought that they are oppressed. There are people in 2025 who are saying the exact same thing as this guy, by the way. The exact same thing in this guy. This idea that these black people are oppressed and that they're being held back by the systems. That's their biggest weakness. There are black people who say this. I'd run it more time.
Oh, this fanatical attitude of a lot of them that they're being oppressed and they have to go out and be violent and react violently and steal and rob to show their feelings about it. That's hurting them more than anything, I believe.
Do you think it's better to maintain law and order in this country or to have justice here?
Well, we have to have both. Justice is absolutely essential, but law and order is necessary too. They're not antipathetic terms. I mean, they should go together.
Thank you, sir. Okay, you're rolling. And what has been your reaction over the last couple of days since Martin Luther King was murdered?
Well, no comment.
No comment? No comment? Jesus, how racist is this guy, bro? How racist is this guy?
I haven't got nothing to say about that.
No comment on his death whatsoever?
Oh no, he did it, bro. This guy's FBI. I wanted to say that as soon as he came on the screen, I was like, this guy is FBI for sure. But him being like, no comment, dog, he's FBI. He killed him. He killed Martin Luther King for sure, 100%. He helped with the assassination.
No feelings about it?
Well, I feel sorry that things like this have happened, naturally, and it's just one of those things that has to be corrected, and it's a long time being corrected. That's the trouble.
What do you think could be done to...
What does he mean by that? It was one of those things that had to be corrected, and it was a long time coming? What does he mean by that? I'm telling you, this man is the man who did it. Yeah, arrest this man, bro. Throw him in prison. I'm telling you, this guy's the FBI.
To correct it now?
And it's a long time being corrected. That's the trouble.
What do you think could be done to correct it now?
Well, I think they're on the right path anyhow. I think they're doing a lot of talking about it, preaching and whatnot. I think that'll conclude the whole situation.
Has your general reaction to Negroes changed at all?
No, it never has. I do business with some of these people.
I do business with some of these people.
You ashamed this happened in America?
I am, yes. It's a disgrace, I think.
What's wrong with America, then?
Nothing's wrong with America. I'm 100% American.
Why does it happen here?
I wouldn't know. They've got too many of the foreign element coming in here. I think it's wrecking our country.
What do you mean by the foreign element?
Well, they're coming from all over the world, and it makes it rough for the average American person.
You what,
Nothing has changed. They're coming in through the border. They're coming into the border, folks. Bro, this is Donald Trump. This is Donald Trump.
Second, third generation American?
No, I'm the second, yeah.
Where'd your parents come from?
Germany. My father came from Germany when he was a very...
My last name, Hans Paperclip. Hans Paperclip. Stop. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I love this video. It's the gift that keeps on giving. It's the gift that keeps on giving. As he's Jewish. I mean, yes, he could be, his father could be a Jewish refugee fleeing the Holocaust. Could also be German national. We don't know. Right? But he's 100% American. We don't know.
A young man.
And you think anything unusual about the rioting that's occurred since Martin Luther King's death?
No, I wouldn't say that, no.
Doesn't upset you?
Not Well, everybody's upset about this whole situation. What can they do about it?
Well, what would you do about it now?
Well, I wouldn't know what to do. I mean, the way it's going is out of hand completely right now. When I have to bring out the militia, why, it's pretty rough.
Should black Americans and white Americans be
Wait,
the same?
You're saying you have to bring out the militia to quell the riots? Bro, he's saying bring out the Marines. He's saying bring out the Marines. He's saying bring out the Marines to stop the riots. It's literally the exact same. It's literally the exact same. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed.
Well, I think we should all unite, and it's one thing we have to do to keep peace today.
Where are you from?
Parsippany.
Where?
Parsippany.
Parsippany. What's your reaction being to Dr. Martin Luther King's death?
Parsippany? Where's Parsippany? New Jersey.
In the couple of days since.
Well, I think it's a tragic thing. I don't think it should have happened, but we'll just have to go on without it.
If you were living in one of those ghettos, do you think you might have rioted as a result of it?
No, I don't think so.
What's your reaction to the riot?
As far as I'm concerned, there always have been.
Thank you.
What was that about? What was that about?
As far as I'm concerned,
what's your reaction to the riot?
As far as I'm concerned, there always have been.
Thank you.
You're rolling.
What do you think may happen now in America as a result of Dr. King's death?
Oh, I think a lot of people will be made more aware of the crisis that we're in.
Do you think he died in vain, or did it accomplish something?
Definitely not. Never in vain. That there really is no difference. I don't have any prejudice at all.
Thank you.
What is going on? What is going on with this video?
What was the reaction in your family over the last couple of days to Martin Luther King's death?
Oh, I think we were shocked. I think we compared it in our minds to the assassination of Kennedy.
Okay.
And I think that everyone is shocked that such a terrible thing could happen in this country.
How old are your children?
7.5, 5.5.
And what have you told them about Negroes?
What have I told them? That they are citizens of the United States who have not been given their chance.
Yeah, you could tell she's woke when she made the comparison to Kennedy. Kennedy was white people's darling, and if you see anybody comparing the assassination of MLK to Kennedy, they're well. Honestly, I probably shouldn't say this because like she'd be killed if I said that. She's kind of giving communists a little bit. I mean, she's probably dead at this point anyway, but she is giving communists a little bit.
And I tell them to always treat colored people with respect. I've heard them use expressions like and stuff like that.
You didn't have to say it. You didn't have to say it. Jeez Louise. Hold on, Miss Commie Lady. Not that woke now. No, she can still be woke. She's just like, she's a little bit too woke. You know what I mean? Don't worry, I'm doing land acknowledgement, but like I'm gonna say the N-word to like let my kids know what to look out for, That's how woke she is. It was a tactical N-word. She was using it to show her interlocutors that their language does not impress her. That's what she was saying. So honestly, leftists have not changed from 1968. Leftists have not changed from 1968. They're still the exact same. They're the exact same. She's like, Tacoma wept.
Words like that they didn't hear at home, and I tried to correct them anytime I've heard them.
What do you think is going to happen in America now?
I know what I'd like to see happen. I don't know whether it will happen or not, that something like this possibly could pull people together to make them more aware of the colored people, that, you know, what they have been lacking.
Like, she was looking for the most politically correct term for the time. You know?
Through the years, in the field, particularly of education, I think.
Thank you.
I still think she's woke, you know what I mean? Oh, we should do a woke meter, chat. Okay, on a scale from 1 to 10, how woke do you think she was? But yeah, you're right, chat. This is a way better use of our time. I'm having a lot more fun with this. Honestly. We'll get back to the creator thing in a second, because I still want to make a video off of that. But like, this is a video in and of itself. It's just so funny.
Hang on one second. Scram.
He does say scram. Scram, you say? Scram. Man, why would you ever take AAVE when scram is right there? I love it.
Really? How old are they?
Ricky's almost 3 and Michael is just 9.
And what have you taught them up until now about Negroes?
Not to be prejudiced.
Ah, that's nice.
What's your
There's no
reaction?
difference between color of skin is all.
Where do you think America's going to go now after the death of Martin Luther King?
I don't know. It's frightening, really. I hope we go the right way and not the wrong way.
Do you think you now have to do something about this personally?
Yes, but what, I'm not sure.
Have you any solutions in your own mind to what may happen in the
No,
future?
I sure don't. I wished we all did, but I don't.
Do you think that everybody could do something?
Yes?
Are you ashamed this happened in America?
Yes, I'm ashamed it happened in America. I've lived overseas, and people aren't real proud of we Americans overseas, and to have something like this happen doesn't make us look any better in the eyes of the
She's
other
omega woke.
people.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll give her a 9. More woke than the other lady. Well, she didn't drop the N-word, to be fair. So like, yeah. But yeah, she's cultured. She's cultured. I like her. She's cool. Why can't we get these liberals back? You know what I mean? These liberals are at least more chill. They're not like, you didn't vote for Kamala Harris, I'm gonna kill you now. You know what I mean? To be fair, like, these, like, we're talking about like the most radical of society, right? Like, liberals are, again, were basically like equivalent to like conservatives back then. And like these are probably the leftists of the time. Right? They probably didn't make that distinction, right? But yeah, these are probably like these probably aren't liberals. They're probably like the leftists at the time.
Well, naturally, it's one of regret and sorrow.
Where do you think the civil rights cause goes from here?
I hope it goes forward.
Have you ever worked for civil rights?
No.
Do you feel a need to now?
No.
Well, to the extent that I sympathize with them and so forth, but not actively, no.
What about the resultant rioting and rebellion in the ghettos?
He did say no.
Does that upset you?
Yes.
Keep in mind, McCarthyism ended barely a decade before this, yeah.
Tremendously.
In what regard, particularly?
Well, I don't think it's doing civil rights any good.
Wait, hold up.
And rebellion in the ghettos. Does that upset you?
Yes, tremendously. And so forth, but not actively, no.
What about the resultant rioting and rebellion in the ghettos? Does that upset you?
Yes, tremendously.
In what regard, particularly?
Well, I don't think it's doing civil rights any good.
He's literally doing the whole, this is not helping your cause, from a guy that does not support your cause. He was like, well, I hope civil rights goes forward after Dr. King's death, right? Are you going to do anything about it? No. What about the riots? I hate them. They're so destructive, right? It's not helping the cause that I just also don't care about.
What do you think of Negroes generally?
Of which?
Negroes generally.
I don't think any different of them than anybody else.
Do you think they have full equality in this country?
Not complete. Not complete. In certain sections they do.
How would you say, sir, that Negroes could get full equality in America?
I don't know, except that they might continue to press for it.
Ah, yes. You must press for it, right? That's the way. You just keep asking for it. But like, you notice how, again, my point is, none of these people who are like, yeah, you know, the Negro's oppressed, right? Or they don't have equal rights, but I'm not going to do anything to help them. That's what you just keep asking for.
I suppose it's a matter of education for us white people that we eventually will see to it that they get their rights and equality.
Do you think that Martin Luther King...
Eventually, we'll see, like, yeah, you just keep telling us about how you're human beings, and eventually we'll get around to it, you know? Eventually we'll get around to, like, giving you your rights, I guess. Which is literally... Do you know who that sounds like, chat? We talked about him a few days ago. It sounds like the menswear Derek guy. You know? Yeah, just go ahead and just get an education in immigrant law, and like in 5 to 10 years down the line, you know, we can actually overhaul the system, and then we'll make things a little bit better for you. Get a law degree and maybe marry an immigrant then. Right? That's how you fix things. But all this violence is you're not helping your cause. It's liberals are exactly the same. Liberals are exactly the same. And I think these people are conservatives, actually. But like, it's the same exact thing. It's always, oh, this violence doesn't help your cause. This violence doesn't help your cause. This violence doesn't help your cause. But also, I'm not going to help your cause. I'm not going to do anything to actually help your cause. I think something needs to change, but I'm not going to be the one to change it. I mean, conservative at the time is liberal now. No, they were like actually like legitimate, like, you know, conservatives at the time as well.
King's death sort of brought white America up short?
I'm afraid it did.
Why do you think it took this to make it happen?
I'm afraid that they might go overboard a bit.
What's overboard?
In that they might do things that they might regret later on. The haste in doing things now they might do something that would sort of go to extremes in one way.
As I've walked up and down this street in Ridgefield, people here have said that everybody's going to say the right thing to me and tell me that they're liberal and not prejudiced, but underneath everybody is. Is there any grain of truth in that?
I don't think so. I think a lot of white people are sympathetic to the Negro. I think eventually they're going to get their rights, but there are, of course, a lot of people who are prejudiced toward them and will continue to be for some time, I suppose.
Do you think the civil rights movement is moving too quickly?
No, I don't think so.
Thank you.
Is this going to be on the...
Is this gonna be on a video? Bro, kids never change either, to be fair. They want to be on stream so bad. Are you live? Are you live? Is it gonna be on TV? Kids never change.
So?
Thank you.
Is this gonna be on the...
The cars here come and go on Ridgewood Avenue in Ridgewood, New Jersey. It's not a big town, nor is it a very small town, the size of many American towns. And 2 days after the death of Martin Luther King, we came here to find out just how people felt and where they thought the country might go from here. This is the residential district. Middle class, fairly well-to-do. That middle class that Martin Luther King felt was to be a stumbling block to the real progress of civil rights in America. The people who live out here shop down there also on Ridgewood Avenue. We talked to some of them. The residential avenue, down Ridgewood Avenue is the commercial district where people who live here do their shopping. We talked to some of them about how they felt now and where they thought the country might go from here. After about 4 years of reporting civil rights in America, perhaps this is the time to make only one observation. Nobody in America ever admits to prejudice when they're on camera. This is Peter Jennings in Ridgewood, New Jersey.
True.